Hey there, listeners. Welcome to Brain Fog. Today's another glorious day for an episode hosted by me, EGB. Last week, I won, so we're here this week with fucking you two.
You're not going to introduce us?
No!
Oh, this is weird. Hi, I'm Rowan of Rowan.
Yeah, hey, I'm Lumetric.
Hi, Rowan. Hi, Louie. Fucking, wow, Lumetric, you sound weird this week. Do you have a cold?
No, I stole a soul, actually.
That's cool. What about you, Rowan?
I do have a cold, yeah. Someone at work gave me the big bed, and it's kind of fucked me for like the last week.
This is weirding me out. I want my identity back.
You're not allowed to have it back. You gotta earn your identity back.
I can just imagine if we were actually in like a studio doing this, right? Like across a table from each other. All we did is we just swapped a bit of paper. And that's how we changed names for that whole bit.
You have a name tag that says "Hi, I'm Rowan" on it, and it's just like pinned onto the front of your shirt.
We swapped sweaters because they're like sticky.
Oh, why is your sweater sticky? Ew, I don't
No,
want
the
this.
tag is
Ew.
sticky. The tag is
Gross.
sticky.
What the fuck?
Because when you stick them and stick them somewhere else, they do not stick the
I
same.
don't want
is
your
what I
sticky
meant.
sweater. Get rid
Oh
of
my!
it.
Look, listen. You told me you want my sticky sweater before. Don't even.
Well, and
What
either
are you
way.
talking about?
Oh my god. Hi, welcome in, you two. Say, how was y'all's week? I wanna talk about stuff. The brain fog. We're doing small talky things. Do you like small talky things? I love small talky things. I want to hear from Lumi. Lumi, what did you do? What have you done for a week?
You know, I had big plans this week. I had like a bunch of collabs planned. I was gonna be picking up a couple of like horror games that I'd been interested in. I was gonna be continuing like more Expedition 33, which is like all the rage. Everyone I know is playing it. But as I mentioned, I had a cold. For some reason, the cold that I had that went away came back with a vengeance, but also with the added benefit of like a sickness bug that I somehow picked up on Monday. So midstream, I don't feel good. Guys, I'll be right back. I came back like 20 minutes later, like, guys, I need to go. I feel like the Reaper has climbed up my ass and stole my soul. I need to stop, and I just need to be gone right now. So I just did, and then I've been sick since then. I literally have done nothing. I've watched shows and talked to people, and that's pretty much been my entire week. So everything's just been kind of pushed to the back end of everything. Like I bought a new unit that I was planning to build in the room across the landing for my TV and stuff, so I could watch movies and just have like a room that's not my like workspace and bedroom and stuff like that. And I just haven't done anything. I've just had a very miserable week where I've just felt like gravity was like increased to ×2 and my body didn't want to work with me.
You watched Shells?
Shows. I finished watching season 2 of Severance. I started watching Hijack with Idris Elba. I've watched a couple of animes, but I can't remember the names of them right now. I've been watching Windrunner. I think it's Windrunner. It's like, it's weird. It's like high school Yakuza, but not Yakuza. They're like this town that have these like hoodlum people in the high school, but they're actually like really good people who just they protect the people of the town by fighting other hoodlums and people who cause trouble. But you walk in there and they're basically just like a gang. The classrooms have graffiti. They don't do like actual classes. They basically just group up and go wander the town and go, oh, you're causing problems. We're gonna cause problems for you. And
So it's like a reverse biker gang. That's what you're telling me.
yeah, kinda. And they weren't walking around just fighting people. And like the fight scenes are really good.
I dig it. That's pretty fun.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm just kind of filling the space now that like my hero's not back yet, and Blue Lock's still on remission, and solo leveling is also done for now. There's just a lot, like all the stuff I was watching just stopped, so I'm kind of just filling the blanks with other stuff.
Dandadan comes out in like a couple, like, what, months?
September? I think it's September.
I think it's July.
What, for my hero? No, it's like September, October.
No, for Dandadan.
Oh, Dandadan. I still haven't watched that.
You still haven't watched, dude.
I was meant to
Dude.
watch it with Kamari and Akiru, but we just never found time, and it's just been sitting there.
Dude, that's your homework. You gotta watch Dan to Dan. It's worth. It's a good show. You'll like that. Like you like Bleach the same way that I like Bleach. You'll like Dan to Dan.
Okay.
It seems right up your alley.
Well, okay. So you've been sick. You watched TV.
Yeah,
You did nothing.
pretty much.
You laid in bed and tried not to expire. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I did a couple of like little projects that I could kind of do on the side. But nothing intense, because after like a couple hours sitting with the headset on, my head started to feel like someone was compressing, like the Hulk was just squeezing inward with my head. So I didn't do a huge amount of anything.
Ah, so you had the sinus pressure and all that too. Yay! Yay for illnesses.
Yay.
We love illnesses, bro.
We love those.
Rowan, what have you been up to?
Oh, it's been a week. It's been another wonderful week of work and more work. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel. This weekend is going to be a nice break from the Huldrum because my partner is moving into a new place. So I was gonna go help them move in. Yeah, exciting. Except last night they sent me a picture of they got to like go in there, see the place, like out of that, make sure everything's okay. Sent me a picture. One of the walls looks like it's the wall inside their like pantry or something, or the closet. It's fucked up. It's cracked, there's mold, it's all falling
There's
apart.
mold.
Yeah.
There's mold.
Yeah. So they messaged me yesterday and they're like, hey, we might actually not need your help tomorrow.
What?
Huh?
How did they not notice? How did they not notice when they looked the first time? What?
Yeah, they had to have like looked at it before they put down an offer or whatever, right?
Well, yeah, but I think I don't know. I don't know the details. I don't know if they looked at a different unit and then saw this place, or if this happened in the meantime, or if they just missed this because it's a little bit tucked away, which is entirely possible.
Could have also been that like whoever was in there first maybe still had stuff in it and you just didn't see behind it. But
Yeah, exactly.
So there's this thing in the US, and I don't know if it's universal, but like when you go to look at an apartment, like any place worth their salt will like open all of the doors and like open all the cabinets and stuff. So like when you go and do the viewing, you can like see everything. And like the reason for it is stuff like that. So you can like check to make sure that it's not in disrepair. You're telling me that like they went in and they just didn't check?
That is not necessarily universal up here, actually. I've definitely gone to see a number of places where I did go and open all that shit up myself. And yeah, like you said, I'm pretty sure there must have been somebody still living in there previously, or like all their stuff was in the way. I don't know. I don't have a ton of the details. I have not had a chance to catch up with my partner a ton recently because they've been so busy with the move. They've basically been working, packing, and hyperfixating on Star Trek for the last month, which has been a
okay.
fun ride to be watching from the sidelines.
Whatever they say in Star Nano, is that it? What is it? What's the Star Trek thing?
Oh, I'm not the Star Trek person here. You're asking the wrong person.
I've just pissed off an entire group of people, I guarantee.
Oh, 100%. You're gonna have people on the Reddit after this just so upset.
Nano. Live long and perspirate. There you go. That's what it is.
I hate that so much, actually.
fucking can't believe it. Just buoying me up, Scotty. Probably what you'd think. Probably boing, not beam.
Yeah, boing me up. Come on, boing.
I am making them listen to this episode. I cannot wait.
To be fair, I like, so it's funny, like Star Trek, right? Like my friend was really into Star Trek, and I was really I'm gonna preface this by saying I was into Star Wars, not really into Star. I like Star Wars, but I like the Jedi part of Star Wars. Like, and I know a lot of people are into like the guns and the bounty hunter and the kind of the smuggling and stuff like that, and that's like a part of it that just never really interested me that much. I like the lightsabers and the fighting and and then obviously yes, the space wizardry. But the same kind of going for Star Trek. I never really got into it. Like I like Patrick Stewart and what's his name, Kirk, the original Kirk. Oh God, I forget his name, the actor.
Wow. Wow. Really?
Oh, it's like there, but I can't remember it.
He talks like.
I know, William Shatner.
There you go. There
Yes.
you go.
So
there
I
you
like
go.
I like these actors, right? And I love Leonard Nimoy and all. Like, they were great actors and they did a lot of really good stuff. But like, I just never really got into the original shows. So then when they did the kind of the remaster or the full film release stuff, where you had I was like Carl Urban and Chris Pine and all that sort of stuff. Like I liked those movies a lot because they were modernized, right? They were shiny, like the old Star Trek. They weren't really shiny. They were like they were very old school TV show. Like they were like done on like live set kind of thing. Whereas the new movies were all CGI. And me, dumb brain boy, pretty shiny, love, ooh, give more. So and I feel like again I'm also like alienating a whole part of the fandom because I'm like I like this more than that.
Dude, you're fine. You're fine. Honestly, I feel the same about like shows like that. Like, don't get me wrong. People that grew up with that kind of stuff probably loved it. It was probably still really cool, and they're like, "Hey, I like the effects. I like watching and stuff." Like, I'm the kind of person that like I watch older shows for like the technical aspects. So like I like B horror movies. That's one of my fucking like big fixations is like watching B horror movies and watching things with practical effects. That shit is so fucking cool to me. But if you gave me the option between like a like an old practical effect movie where things are kind of hokey and like you can tell like, hey, that's a puppet or whatever, and like a brand new one, I'd probably watch the brand new one ahead of that. Now, does that mean that I dislike the other one? No, but it's definitely not as shiny, not as new. Like the new Terrifier movies use practical effects and they're so good, it's unreal. But like the older shows are they're just crunchy. They're just crunchy, and some people don't like. It's just like
I think it's important to recognize that, like, the shiny new stuff, even if it's not necessarily as faithful to the original story or not as well written or whatever, it's still really good for getting a modern audience into the media.
Although I think though that they have never a kind of interesting turn on that, right? Is if you grew up with it, you have a different opinion. So like I'm going to use Sabrina here as an example because it's very easy for me to point at both of them. They had the old Sabrina, which had Salem the Talking Cat, and then they had new Sabrina, which was the Netflix one, which had a cat who didn't talk.
just a cat.
Just a cat. And then you added some extra characters. You had like Ambrose, who was that really cool actor who passed away. And obviously you had Zelda and Hilda and that, but they were very different characters. They were Bel Air is another one. Bel Air original Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel Air, fantastic show. Original Sabrina, fantastic show. New Sabrina, new Bel Air, utter garbage. Honestly, like I couldn't finish them. They're just in the first season of Bel Air. Carlton's a drug addict. Jeffrey is a hitman, and Uncle Phil is basically a corrupt politician.
What do you mean?
That's your new Bel Air. Hillary is a social media celebrity. Ashley's a lesbian. They've just went, let's get all of the stereotypes and let's just shovel that in there.
What the fuck
Wow,
is this?
okay.
What?
No, it's terrible. I've watched season 1. Apparently there's now a 4th and final season, and I'm like, I don't even want to know. Like,
I'm impressed they made it for 4 seasons.
Me too. Me too.
Oh my god.
And I think it's honestly because Will Smith's like the producer of the show. I think that's entirely why it's lasted as long as it has.
Is it just venting? Is it just Will Smith venting? Is that what this is?
Oh, I don't even
Sounds
know.
like
It's horrible because what I hate about it, right, is I look it up and people are like, oh, the show's like a really authentic like take on Bel Air, and I'm like, that's what happens in Bel Air. Your cousin plants drugs on you and you fight in a pool. What?
No.
Maybe.
No.
I don't know. Just the whole show had me yelling at my laptop while I was watching it, and I I didn't even know there was 4 seasons until I looked it up like a week ago because I was curious to see what happened to it. And it's 4th season finishing now, and I hate it because like it tells you like a little brief synopsis. And it's like all of the people, Jeffrey, Phil, Vivian, everyone has moved away. Will is on his own in Bel Air in season 4, and I'm like, that never happened. What? That wasn't a thing. He was never alone, and maybe this is more apparent to the original story of Will. Maybe if this is based on his life, I don't know. I can't remember. I don't think it is, but if it is, then maybe that's what happened. Maybe that is the truth of it all. But like, it's not faithful to the original, right? So I'm like, but no, hold on. They were there. They were all together. There was that whole emotional scene of like Will standing in the empty living room and like leaving with them, and I'm like, oh, nostalgia.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's different if you've grown up with a show and they release a new version of the show. You'll be protective of your old show. Like you'll hug it like your child.
Definitely.
I think true. Like it's why I watch a lot of anime, right? And this isn't even like a new example. This is kind of an old example, right? So like I grew up and I watched the original Full Metal Alchemist. Love that show. Fucking love
Great
that
show.
show.
Great
And
show.
Brotherhood came out. And like I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be really honest. I watched a little bit of it, but I didn't finish it. Because I was like, it's not the same. Not the same, doesn't have the same charm.
I'm in a weird place about Brotherhood and FMA because I loved FMA up until a point. I think the like parts of the ending are really stupid, and then Brotherhood I hated up until a point, and then I was like, actually, this makes more sense. So like if they'd basically just cut it in like a diagonal from like I don't know, like 65% of FMA to like the 65% point in Brotherhood, and then just merge those two together, it would have been a much better show. Because like even the movies, like the FMA movie, like The Conqueror of Shambhala or whatever it was, made no sense. Oh, he's in Germany now. He's fighting the Nazis. What? Fuck off. Whereas the film for Brotherhood was actually really good.
But yeah, no, the point being like that older show, I liked it more because that's what I had when I grew up, and I didn't have the new one. And once the new one came out, I was like, this isn't the same. I don't like this. It doesn't have the same charm that I held before. And I think that that's something that is pretty prominent among a lot of people. That's why nostalgia is a hell of a drug, dude.
Looks at
It
live
is.
action remakes.
Like nostalgia is a hell of a drug, bro.
Hey, I'm very happy that Snow White bombed because that 30 something million or billion show only bringing in like 1.3 million and having a 1.3 star rating on IMDb. Disney have cancelled all future live action projects, and I'm like pumping my fist. I'm like, yeah, I'm so happy. Stop. Nobody wants them.
Nobody does. Nobody wanted them. What do you want?
Nobody wants them. Ridiculous. Ridiculous they were a thing in the first place.
Will say, I am cautiously excited about the live action How to Train Your Dragon.
Well, like that's DreamWorks though. DreamWorks seem to just do things right. They just seem to have a knack for doing things right, which I'm happy about, honestly. Although I wonder what we're going to see with the new Shrek. Like, considering they're going to be trying to combine Shrek and Puss in Boots and the style of Puss in Boots into Shrek, I don't know how that's going to go.
Oh, that's quite exciting.
Somebody once, and then like it's just like a Spider-Man styled fight scene.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm optimistic because I mean the bad guys too looks really good. The How to Train Your Dragon looks really good. So I can only hope that they do a good job.
You know what? That's a fun topic. Do you guys want to know what we're doing this week? You guys want to know what we're doing this week?
Yeah.
So, we just kind of went over a bunch of things that like I find personally interesting and like that you guys find personally interesting. I love talking about personal interests, but like even more so, I have a fascination with people. And there's something that everybody tends to do, which is, when you talk to your friend about that thing, that one thing that like they're stupidly into. Like I have one friend that I can talk to about Yu-Gi-Oh for like hours. And I don't mean like circle around the same topics. I mean like there is something new to talk about for like 2 or 3 hours with Yu-Gi-Oh! Like stuff that I never even kind of thought of, and I'm the person that plays that game. It's a hyperfixation. It's something that they've like obsessed over for a long period of time. It's something that makes my brain tingle so hard when I can hear somebody just ramble on forever about a topic that they are obsessed with, whether that be games or political stuff or movies or some sort of media or like how to make a microparticle machine. I don't know. It's weird. Everybody has a weird one. And they're so cool. Because it's stuff you would never know. And they've like done all this research for you. It's like having an encyclopedia, but it's like real specific. I know Lumi and I know Rowan. I don't know what your hyperfixations are. Because we haven't had the time to sit down and like really just examine it. And I want to turn my brain off for a bit and listen to you and hear what you've got going on. What's in your brain? What's the thing that like you wake up and you're like, I got to know about this thing? What is the thing you see come on your newsfeed? You're like, I got to absorb that right now and then regurgitate it later to 15 of my friends while like 5 of them are paying attention and the other 10 of them are looking at their phone going, well, they'll stop eventually. What are your hyperfixations? Like what are you into? I want to know.
I hate this because this happened to me literally this week.
Lumi, I want to know about your hyperfixation. And I'm going to judge it based on my ability to like it, your knowledge of it, and its concise. And a couple of other miracle sprinkles I'm putting in there.
When I first think about this, I don't feel like I have a hyperfixation. But when I think about it even further, I realize that everything I do is kind of a hyperfixation. And you can kind of like roll it into content creation, I guess, or gaming, probably gaming as a wider variety. And I think this started 20 years ago. When I combined my love of gaming and my hobby, we'll say, with my job. So I went from just being the guy who played games to the guy who also sold games. And as I progressed through that career, I moved on to like a supervisor role. And because you were given a KPI, which is like a key performance incentive, sorry, I was given pre-orders and like kind of new releases and stuff like that. So not only did I go and learn like, right, okay, so, you know, August, we've got this coming out, 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 this coming out. I would go and I would learn, okay, so we've got this coming out, but it comes in these 3 different versions with this, or this, that. Okay, cool, right, okay, the next one. And I would do the same thing for each of them. And I got to the point where I could stand there and rattle off any game, what it came with, when it came out, who made it, any like famous actors who were in it. And I didn't even need to look at anyone. I could just stand and tell someone about it and then say, right, okay, well, this one costs this much, this one costs this much, and this one costs this much. You can pre-order them for these various amounts. And that kind of like filtered into my real life, because I would come home and I would make those lists for myself, and I would be sitting here going, right, okay, well, this month I've got to pre-order this, and I've got to make sure that I've got money for this, and I've got to, oh god, right, okay, well, I'm gonna set aside this weekend for that, oh god, right, okay, and like all the while trying to like plan in like films and like other social events and all these other things. And like, okay, well, I've got to make sure this is doing this, and I've got to do this, and I've got to go here for this, and I've got to, but they're doing a better one than we are. Okay, I'm going to go there for that. And I would sit, and it was like, you know, that like numbers, like meme that like the Odyssey of Markiplier, where he like looks up and you just see the numbers all those. That was me when it came to anything related to gaming, and it still kind of is. Like I come home and I'm okay, right, okay, new Wilds is coming out, right? What do I get with Wilds? This, okay, that, okay, I get this, okay, cool. Then I'm like, it's like a whole other perspective now. I'm like, right, cool. Well, I get this, but I also want to get it for free because I'm a content creator, and you know, money is not, you know, doesn't grow on trees. So I want to, who do I know from this company, or where can I go for that, or what website do I check for this key? Oh, okay, right, well, I've found the person, I've messaged the person, I've emailed them, I've messaged them on Twitter or whatever. All right, cool, well, I'm going to put it in my basket, and then if they don't get back to me within like 48 hours, I'm just going to buy it. And that was that.
So I have a question.
Okay.
Imagine I am a person that doesn't play video games and doesn't understand release patterns and doesn't understand any of that. I want you to explain to me, like, what it's about, like, slowly. I'm new. I don't know things. In fact, I'm gonna cosplay for you. I'm gonna be here to ask questions. So go ahead. Lumi, I've never played. I don't play video games. Can you explain, like, what's the last game you play? Like, what's the thing that you like to do with games? Like, how do you know what to do?
Do you like films?
Yeah, I really like films.
What was the last film you watched?
The last film I watched was I watched Into the Spider-Verse actually recently.
Okay, perfect example. Okay, what if you were Spider-Man? How cool would that be?
That'd be really cool.
How wicked would it be to have the abilities of Spider-Man, to be able to save people in New York, to fight villains, everything that Spider-Man does, all of that? That would be pretty cool, right? You'd enjoy that, yeah? That's a game. That's what gaming is. It puts the power of whatever popular character, or if it's not affiliated with something like Marvel or DC or whatever, the main character of the video game, that puts that power in your hands. How do you know what to do? Well, they have a lot of tutorials these days. They're very good at tutorials. They get annoying. Eventually, once you've played enough of them, you'll start to hate them. You'll get to the point where you do it asks if you want you to explain a thing, and you're like, no, don't be stupid, and you click no, and you're like, fuck. That's where you'll get to if you play enough of them. But
like, I watch movies already, so like, why would I play a game? I don't understand.
Because it gives you a whole different kind of adrenaline. It's a completely different endorphin that it pumps your brain full. It is a different form of enjoyment. Not only are you watching Spider-Man or whoever do X, Y, and Z, you're doing it. You're pressing the buttons that makes him beat the crap out of Venom. You are the guy or the girl or the non-binary pal who is beating someone across a room so that you can save the girl, the damsel in distress, or guy in distress, whichever way you swing. And as for release schedules, they work exactly like movies. They have release dates. They don't just appear. There's a lot of marketing that goes into it. There's a lot of PR. Like there's demos usually. They come out on like YouTube, and they release like gameplay demos, tech demos, like interviews. Yeah, it's like movies. Yeah. It's a movie, but you're controlling the character rather than just watching it.
So like, even like the release schedule is like similar to movies, right? Like it's like they film it or whatever. I guess they make it in this case, and then they just like do a bunch of promo and release it. Is like that it? Do we all get like the same copy? Like,
yes and
like,
no.
Is it the same experience? Like if I played it and you played it, or
essentially, so the obviously, you've been to cinemas, right? You've got your standard seating, you've got your IMAX, you've got your like your lever seats, your barca loungers, depending on the cinema that you go to. Kind of the same idea. The game releases, the base level version is the base game for everyone. Everyone gets the same experience. There's no difference. There are other tiers that are usually cost a little bit more, which you can get things like different costumes, other DLC. Like for example, using Spider-Man as an example again, they did a Black Cat DLC, so you could meet Black Cat in the game and interact with her and help her on a mission, which you wouldn't have gotten if you hadn't either purchased that version or bought the DLC later online for the game. It's kind of like an add-on. It's like whenever you go into like a phone store and I need like more data, or I need like an international roaming plan. They can just tack that thing onto your phone bill and just like, £5 more, there you go, good problem. And this is the same idea. You pay once for this rather than multiple months, but it's the same idea.
I don't know that I'd know like what game to get or like what version, because like this seems confusing. There's like a bunch of different options, and like it does sound like the experience is different based off of like if you get like the upper version or like this specialty version, or if like you pre-ordered or whatever. Like there's like a bunch of different ways. Like how would I even know? Is it just like I just have to pay attention to marketing, or like what do I do like if I miss a pre-order or something? Like am I just kind of SOL, or what's the deal?
Sometimes yes. So if you miss a pre-order, a lot of the time they don't offer that pre-order outfit or DLC again later on. Sometimes they're just like, well, you didn't pre-order it, you don't get it. but it's never anything that would like break the game. Like for example, Monster Hunter was a good example. They released when the game released, if you pre-ordered it, you got like this kind of fancy Three Musketeers outfit. It doesn't give you any better stats or anything. It is entirely cosmetic, so you just get a different look, but you can't buy it. So if you didn't pre-order it, you didn't get it. So it's usually in you know prior days, in the past, in the good old days, I would have said just go to your local GameStop, Game Store, or whatever, and usually someone there would be able to help you out. You could say, look, I'm interested in Spider-Man. I know there's a new game coming out in like 4 weeks, but I have no idea what to get. And they would sit down and they would go, oh, well, if you buy this, you get this. You know, if you buy this, you get that. Sometimes they come with physical aspects, like the Spider-Man that came out like a year ago had 19 inches of Venom statue with it, which was just a really big Venom statue where he was fighting Spider-Man. So it really just depends, one, on your wallet, because like that was not cheap. That was like $200, like it was like $270 or something like that. But it really all depends on your budget, how much you love something. Like for me, obviously I've done this for a long time, so if they release like a new Final Fantasy, I'm all in. I buy the one with the figurines, the whole 9 yards. I buy it all. Even if I got given it for free, I'll buy it, the whole thing anyway.
Why do you like video games in general? Like, what's the deal? I guess I still don't understand.
They're a great escape. It is an escape from a world. You get to, let's be fair, right? You go to work, it kind of sucks. You do your job, you come home, you're like, oh, that was a grueling day of, X, Y, or Z, slinging stuff at the local McDonald's or working in IT or whatever. And you're just like, I just want to fade out, right? I want to like look at something and not think about that I have to go back tomorrow. So gaming's great for that, because you can just lose yourself in a world where it's very immersive and there's a lot to do, so you can kind of just get lost doing side quests while moving towards your next story objective, and you forget. So like there's been games sometimes where I've played them and I've completely lost track of time, and it's went from like 4 p.m. till like midnight, and I've been like, oh, I did not eat today. Oh god. But I played like 8 hours of my game.
Oh, you have to eat. Eating important.
Eating is important, but I have done that. I have completely lost track of time before and just went, yes, video game, cool, this is fun. I'm playing as...
I said I hadn't also done that.
I think if you play video games, at least like one time you'll do it. Because you'll be like, Master Chief, I can't wait to see the next installment in your journey. I'm going to play Halo for the next 12 hours. 6 a.m. rolls around and you're like, I didn't eat today. I haven't drank in the last 12 hours. My mouth feels like a tomb.
Interesting. I might look into doing something like that. That seems fun. Like, it sounds like you're like really interested in it, and like there's a lot to go on. It's not just about the games, but like the industry itself. Like how things are marketed, how they're sold. Like there's a lot more than just like it's just an experience to have. There's like more things wrapped into it.
Yeah, because I've literally just rambled on about selling and kind of the baseline of what a video game is. That's not even going into the different engines they create for games, the new Unreal 5 engine making things look really good, ray tracing. They've come up with all these different mechanics and engines and systems that they feed into these new games that just make things look really good. They make them look borderline realistic sometimes. Some games have such realistic facial animations that you genuinely think you're watching a film, that you just have an interactive film playing.
Like, are there any like downsides or things that you don't like from like games or the industry or like any of that stuff?
Oh god, I mean, I think the standard battle passes and microtransactions and how certain publishers treat developers. Places like EA, for example, they do really good games on one side, and then because a game that they threw such a huge budget at didn't do well, they fire half the studio that made that game, and it just feels really like, well, why did you that? That doesn't make sense. Microsoft is a perfect example. They bought up all these companies so that they go, haha, I have this on Xbox. It's not going to be on PlayStation, ha ha ha. And then They just canned half the studios. Like, oh well, we don't want that. Just get rid of it. And after forcing them to make a game that they made them make, like Arcane was done dirty with Redfall, and the fact that they didn't keep Hi-Fi Rush's company going with the success of Hi-Fi Rush bewilders me. But then you get success stories too, like the I can't remember their name. I'm not sure if it's the Embracer Group or not, but they came in and they bought the IP for some of these games because, like, look, this is a really good game. You've canned the people doing it. We want to buy the IP, and sometimes they let them go. And like we've recently got Legacy of Kain back. Hi-Fi Rush was purchased, so there's some wins, you know, every now and then.
Do they usually like not release them? Like it sounds like sometimes they're like gonna just hold on to things and then just don't let other people have this property. Like why would they do that? That doesn't make sense.
Oh no, it doesn't. But some people, like, let's take Sony for example. Sony have consistently kept the Spider-Man brand because it makes them a lot of money because it's Spider-Man, and you know, money is good, right? People like money. So when Marvel or Disney tried to get Spider-Man back, they're like, no, we're gonna make Madam Web. That means we can keep the IP for like another 4 years, even if a Madam Web was fucking garbage. You know, they keep that IP, and then that means they can keep the games on PlayStation, and it's like a whole big thing. It's like this takes out of gaming. This goes to more of an industry level, but it's something that, you know, if you're into gaming, you keep an eye on. You watch Twitter, you watch YouTube videos, you keep an eye on websites that give you that information. PC Gamer, Kotaku, Game Ranks. They give you that. They feed you that information every day.
It sounds like there's a lot of political stuff going on with that, like on the back end. It's not just surface level gaming. It's like also there's a lot going on with like the money that could be made by exclusivizing some things, and like people talk about those things and there's complaints within communities and such. Like that sounds like there's a huge web that like it's not only influenced by like one thing. It's influenced by an entire group of people. And that seems interesting to me.
There's two levels of game people who are, we'll call them gamers because that's what people refer to them as. There's two levels of gamers. There's the people who just buy the game and play it. They buy Call of Duty, they buy FIFA, they buy Fortnite, or they they download Fortnite and buy V-Bucks, and they just play the game, and they're happy doing that. And that's them. They don't give a crap about anything else going on in the background. This is all they want to do, and that's fine. That's the level of someone who's just, this is my hobby and I'm going to enjoy it. If stuff breaks in the background, it's in the background. I don't know. I'm not going to pay attention to it. And then there's people like me who are like, no, but hold on, wait a minute. I need to know why this CEO said this about this person, and why did the lady from Bayonetta cause such a huge fuss about her acting role or whatever it was, and you look into it and you watch videos and you read into it even further, and then you read articles and you're like, huh, that's really interesting. She said this, but what she actually didn't tell us is this. Oh, that's a bit spicy. And you know, you get the tea. You get the tea. You get the gossip, right? It's a bit of a gossip. It's a bit of a gossip rolled into gaming. And there's just a lot to it.
Careful with all that red string there.
There's a lot of that's fine. That was like 2 years ago.
That's a lot of stuff. Like that's like it. Again, it sounds like there's a whole community behind this. It's not just like one thing. It's not just about gaming. There's like so many facets to it that you could look into.
Yeah, because like, well, so one of my favorite examples of how film or show and game work together is a show called The Descent. It was a 3-season sci-fi show set at the end of the world, essentially. Like stuff had just went to crap, but oh god, I think it was like Ohio or Chicago or something. One of the US states was still there kicking about, and it was like an old western rolled into sci-fi. So it was like western sci-fi, and they had this whole thing where you watched the show and you got to, while you were watching the show, they had an app that you could sit and you could like, you know, I think he should do this, or this is my guess to your question or whatever. But all of that wasn't just a random quiz or anything. That wasn't just there for filler. That information plus what happened on the show got fed into the game they released. They released like an online MMO kind of styled oh god, it was like more like Outriders. It was like Outriders, but it was online and you were playing as a nameless person in this world. And stuff that happened in the show would then directly affect what happened in the game. If someone left the show to go to like a different city, you would see them in the game and you would do quests for them, and then they would come back, and if the community had done X, Y, and Z correctly and gotten a certain thing, they would come back victorious, or they would come back with a failure. And stuff like that. When people evaded being like arrested or whatever, you would meet them in the game, and sometimes you would arrest them or you would beat them up and whatever. You would see certain characters just show up for missions every now and then. They used a lot of the kind of in-show cars and stuff like that in the game, and it was just really cool that you got to basically live in this world that you were watching and could participate with a lot of these characters that you either loved or hated, depending. And that was perfect. In my opinion, that's how they should do a lot of like movie show tie-ins with games, because it was great. I had a huge amount of fun playing that game.
Do you have anything else I should like really know about this, or like something you want to get out, or like something about the game industry, or something about gaming in general, that like the thing that like you want to tell people most?
Gaming's great. It's not cheap. It's a fantastic hobby, and I feel like a lot of people can just kind of get lost in all these worlds, because like you read books, you watch shows, you watch movies, you listen to podcasts like this one, you listen to the audiobooks, whatever it is, whatever your escape is, video games do that. And a lot of people don't have time for that, and I understand that, you have kids or whatever, but if you do have time for it, and it's something that you could see yourself putting some time into just to try, there are many games out there, and one of them will definitely fit your taste. If you're a horror fan, there's tons of horror. If you like Japanese anime, there's a lot of anime games. If you like board games, there's a lot of those. Sports, shooting, army, tons of it. No matter the genre, there will be something for you. And I swear, if you Google what's the best Call of Duty or army or shooter or RPG, there will be so many lists you could not read them all. And you would usually find, after about 5, you would see the kind of the top contenders that would be there every time, and you could pick one and you could try it, and you may like it, you may hate it. It's like Marmite. You love it or you hate it.
That's cool. All right, I have allocated positive and negative points to the entirety of your ramble about gaming. I'm assuming that was like the main point is like gaming, the game industry, and like it's like relative nature to like the way that you view it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it directly feeds into my kind of more current content creation thing, but it all started there. Like that was where everything began, like 20 years ago. Like it kicked off and it grabbed hold of me, and it has never let go. And I don't want it to let go. I like it where it is.
I'm gonna go ahead and cut you off because you rambled for a while. So now it will be Rowan's turn. Tell me about yours. What do you have? What's the thing that percolates in your brain the most? Like what can you talk endlessly on? Give me a thing.
Oh boy, this is a dangerous can of worms to open. There's a lot of things I could talk endlessly about, but I think there's one or two that I can definitely say have been very, very consistent throughout my life, and I think the one that has been rendered the most consistent is space. Space is very, very broad as a topic. I think I'm going to narrow this down a little bit. The thing that really fascinates me is space is full of some of the most extreme and crazy things that we know about in the universe. And those things fascinate me.
I don't know much about space. I don't know much about that kind of stuff. Like I know space is scary. Like the thought of like stuff just blowing up is kind of weird. Like explain, like tell me about tell me what like what's the deal? What's the things that you like about it?
Honestly, space is a little bit scary, and that's part of why I find it so cool. There's so much unknown out there. The thing that really draws me in is space as a concept, as a field of study, is something that consistently challenges what you think you know, and consistently is something where we are always finding out new cool shit. I think it's pretty fair. Most people will assume that space is pretty fucking empty. There's not a whole lot in space. And I guess for the most part that's pretty true. And then you find out that there's actually quite a lot of stuff in space.
I thought there was just a ton of stuff up there. Like, there's a ton of stuff up there, dude. Like, the amount of just stars.
There's a lot of emptiness between things, and even that emptiness is full of stuff. Just stuff that you can't necessarily see or interact with.
Like what?
We have this concept called dark matter. And dark matter is exactly that. It's stuff that we can't see, it's stuff that we don't know how to interact with, but we know it's there. And how do we know it's there? Because we can see how it interacts with other things via gravity. We know that it has some amount of mass to it, it has some amount of weight to it, and anything with some amount of weight will attract other things to itself. That's how gravity works. Gravity is you being pulled to something that is much larger. And so we know that there's stuff out there because of how it interacts with gravity and how things move. And calculations have been done to say that what we can see, the actual stuff that we can see, planets, stars, asteroids, stuff like that, that accounts for less than 10% of the actual stuff in the universe, which is crazy.
That's insane. What do you mean? Like,
The other 90% of what's up there is invisible.
what do you mean what do you mean it's like a ghost?
It's dark matter. It's stuff that's there that interacts only by gravity. Light doesn't interact with it. It doesn't, like, just passes through stuff. Like, you could be being bombarded with dark matter right now and it would do nothing to you. It could be passing right through you, doing nothing, completely harmless. You'd never even know it's there.
So weird. So weird.
It's weird, and that's exactly the thing that fascinates me.
So like, I'm guessing there's been like a lot of studies on it, or like do we know for certain it's there, or like is it a hypothetical? Like what do you? That's a weird thing, man. That's a weird thing, dude.
All science is hypothetical. All science is us trying to build an understanding of our universe and our world and match that understanding to what we can observe and what we see happening. So we are pretty sure, we're pretty highly positive, it's pretty well established that dark matter is a thing that's out there because we can see that it interacts via gravity, because we can see that stuff is pulled together by these invisible long threads of matter that we can't see. That is, of course, all hypothetical, and we might end up one day finding new information that challenges that entire assumption. We might find out something, we might observe something that proves all of that wrong, and that's cool as hell.
All right, I'm gonna now go puppy brain on you, and I'm going to ask you to explain space to me in the dumbest way possible. Rowan,
So,
I'm pretty sure the Earth is flat.
oh
Explain-
no! Oh,
explain to me why I'm wrong.
we can't go
We're not
that
gonna do
far
that.
down.
We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do that yet.
That could be a whole other. I'm gonna write that
No,
down.
no.
We're bringing
No.
that one for another future episode.
Rowan, explain space to me. Like, what is space? Like, what is anything? Why are we on this thing that's apparently floating around somewhere, and how does that work?
Asking one of the greatest questions of life, honestly. A question that scientists have been trying to answer for decades. Current theory is the Big Bang. I'm sure many people have heard about the Big Bang. The idea that at some point,
It was a good show.
the show is based on the event. An event that happened an incredibly long time ago. We're talking estimated about 14 billion years ago. Longer than any of us can even really think about. And we don't know what was there before, but at some point there was an explosion of utterly catastrophic scales that basically just spawned all of the matter that is in our universe today. Spread it far out into reality as we know it. From there, all of that matter, all of that stuff, like individual particles and like atoms and things, all of it has some amount of gravity to it. It's all pulled together a little bit. And so it all just kind of started pulling together, clumping up, and forming into balls and other shapes. And eventually, if things got big enough, they became a planet or a star. And our solar system is a collection of such stuff that is clumped up into the planets and star that we know and love today.
Why do you like space? That's a weird thing to like.
Like I said, there's always something new. There's always something we didn't know about that's being discovered. I love being able to delve into this deep, vast unknown of who the hell knows what's really going on. We're trying to figure that out. It is an exercise in curiosity more than anything. And it's also a little bit of a morbid fascination because, like I said, space is a little bit scary. And that's cool as hell. Because so many things out there are so beyond our reckoning as people living on planet Earth. One of my favorite things that's up there are black holes. They are terrifying, scary objects until you start to understand them a little bit more. And then they're still a little bit scary, but they're fascinating.
What are those?
So, stars, like our sun, they aren't forever. Eventually, they're on fire. They're burning. Not exactly, but without getting too far into the physics of it, they're on fire. Fire goes out eventually if it runs out of fuel. And stars will eventually run out of fuel. When they run out, a couple of things might happen. And most of my fascination with space comes from what happens when stars run out of fuel. Most of my favorite things up there are a product of the end of a star's lifespan. As weird as it may sound, when a star runs out of fuel, it actually starts to get really, really big. We call those red giants. They become red because they lose a lot of their existing heat. They start to dip into, different light spectrums. Like hotter fires tend to be more like orange or white or blue to our eyes. Colder fires tend to be a little bit more reddish. Very similar of a red giant. But once it gets too big, once it runs out of all of that fuel, a couple of things might happen. This is what comes to be known as a supernova, often, where the star can't really stay on fire anymore. And that constant fire is the thing that has helped keeping the star from, just imploding in on itself. Because otherwise it's too big. Otherwise it would just collapse. But when that fuel runs out, it can't stay upright like that anymore, collapses in on itself. And if you're looking at certain types of stars, well, you've got a bunch of really heavy shit in the center of the star. All the stuff collapsing in bounces off the center and explodes outward. And that creates a incredible explosion called a supernova. But certain types of stars, when they collapse in on themselves like that, all that heavy shit in the middle, it doesn't just bounce off of that. It all collapses further and further and further until it kind of just breaks and condenses down further than it should be able to into a single point called a singularity. And that creates a black hole. Something so incredibly dense, so incredibly massive that not even light can escape the hole. Light being the fastest thing we know of.
Why'd you get into space? Like, other than like you just liked it. Like, when did that happen?
Honestly, pretty much my entire life, I've had some level of fascination with it. As a kid, I was always that kid that said, I want to grow up and become a rocket scientist. I mean, that clearly hasn't happened. I am not a rocket scientist. But I think that's evidence enough of the fact that I've always had some level of fascination with going up there and exploring the stars.
Is that a real job, by the way? Rocket scientist, a real job? Is that a real job?
Sure is. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily under that title, but there are definitely scientists who work on rockets.
I'm sure, but like rocket scientist as a whole, like, is that like Come on, space girl. What?
Officially, here in the US, probably not. But I am sure that somewhere out there, someone has posted up a job listing with that as the actual title.
So it sounds like a lot of stuff up there. Like you're into it because of the unknown and stuff. What is the unknowns that you're like interested in? Like what? Explain to me because you haven't really explained to me like the unknowns at all. It's like
I'm getting there, but you need a baseline first. You need to have a baseline understanding of what's going on up
okay,
there.
all right. I think I understand.
So there's always new unknowns up there. One of these things is space started from the Big Bang. Massive explosion, everything started spreading out from there. The key part there is that everything started spreading out from the Big Bang, which means that the universe was getting bigger. And for a little while now, scientists have been trying to figure out, well, is the universe still getting bigger? How fast is it getting bigger? And this is the really interesting thing because we've tried to calculate that using a couple of different methods. This is what's known as the Hubble tension. Hubble, named for the famous orbiting telescope that first made some of these observations of our skies. And the Hubble tension is the fact that we have two different numbers for how fast the universe is getting bigger based on how we calculate it.
What are the numbers? Do you know?
The numbers I don't have off the top of my head because they're super specific. I think it's like 6.7 times 10 to the 72nd, something like that.
You're getting points just for knowing like the one. You're getting points for knowing just the one.
I I was literally, so when I said that this happened to me like last week, it's because I had an article come across my news feed about the Hubble tension and how the Hubble tension is turning into a Hubble crisis because we can't agree on these numbers. And I was reading through that article and I was yapping at people about like, hey, this is fascinating. We can't figure this shit out. I wonder why.
Can't believe you knew that number off your. That's insane.
I'm gonna double check myself. I'm gonna double check myself and actually see what those numbers are.
Do it out. Do it later. Do it later. Do it later. I would keep rambling.
We have two ways of calculating it, and one of those ways is by measuring the cosmic microwave background, which is a really fancy way of saying all the light that's left over from the Big Bang.
Wait. There's still light. There's still light. What?
So the universe is expanding. A lot of times that means that light that the part of the universe containing the light got further from us faster than the light could travel to reach us.
Huh?
It's like how does that even work? Light is the fastest thing you can think of. But the universe is not a thing, it's just the container for things. And so if the container is changing size, but things have to stay in their same approximate positions within the container, they're getting further apart. And that can happen faster than things can travel. So a lot of the leftover light from the Big Bang is stuff that has been traveling for 14 billion years before we eventually see it. The other way that we have tried to calculate this is by looking at more modern observations of like, instead of looking at all the leftover stuff from the Big Bang, we look at the distances between like galaxies that we can see now, and looking at we call them like the dark matter ladders between those galaxies. Dark matter having a gravitational pull, it tends to form into long ladders, and we call it a ladder because it looks like a ladder. It's not really a ladder. Scientists are really funny when it comes to naming things because a lot of times scientists are very creatively uncreative. Scientists love to name things very, very literally. But we've got these giant, long, like, strands of dark matter that we know is there because of how galaxies are being pulled together gravitationally, etc. And by looking at these clusters of galaxies, even, we can see, where they're moving, how far apart they are, how fast they're getting away from each other. That's the other way that we've tried to calculate this expansion of the universe. And the two numbers that we get are at odds with each other. It's a very minor difference if you're actually just looking at the numbers, but it's enough of a difference that we can't agree on. It's outside of like any reasonable margin for error. And that's fascinating because that means that we're going to eventually find something that resolves this problem. And I have no idea what that will be. I'm really excited to see what we discover.
All right. All right. I've been timing you. I want you to now tell me a thing that you think people should know about space. Like right now. Like what's the one thing, if you could tell anybody about it, like somebody's listened to your rant, your hyperfixation, what's a thing that we should all take away?
Space is cool as hell and it will keep you entertained for literally forever if you choose to spend the time and start even with the most fundamental, the most basic of understanding, you will find yourself always wanting to learn more. It is a well of curiosity that will never run dry.
All right. One of you, I can say for sure, can literally just continue talking forever. So I have points. I need to calculate them real
I didn't
quick.
even start talking about black holes enough yet.
Nope. I know. I had to stop you.
You want to know what I would when you asked one thing people should have known about space? You know what I would have said?
Hmm.
Our whole universe was in a hot, dense state. Then nearly 14 billion years ago, expansion started. Wait, the Earth began to cool. The autotrophs began to drool. Neanderthals developed tools. We built a wall. We built the pyramids. Math, science, history, unraveling the mysteries. Then we all started with the Big Bang.
Oh my god. Oh my
I fucked that
god.
up.
Oh
but
my
yes,
god.
that's what I
Oh my
would've said.
god.
And if you get what
I'm-
that's from, you
I
get
wanna
points.
I wanna smash you right now.
I think they don't get what that's from.
Oh, I get what it's from. I get what it's from. I get what it's from. I realized that if I press the number 7, it mutes me. I forgot about that.
Oh, okay.
Whoops. No, my god. I was just like, you're kidding me. You're fucking kidding me, dude. You're kidding me. I mentioned it earlier. Alright, give me 1 second. I'm calculating your guys' stuff. Oh my god.
Is it a draw?
Alright. Nope. It's not. This time it is not a draw. Alright. So, Lumi, thank you for letting me know about the whole thing with gaming and the gaming industry and all that. That's super interesting. Yeah, I judged you guys in a couple of categories. So you had a lot of insight about what was going on. You used it as a vessel to kind of explain your hyperfixation with content creation, which is not the hyperfixation that you were like talking about, but it is related and tangentially. You're able to talk about it at length with questions being asked, and then you had a resolving factor. Like you were able to like close it and wrap it up kind of in a neat bow. Rowan, you talked about space for a long time and have a lot of things that you're interested in, a lot of technical knowledge behind it. You knew a number that was kind of ridiculous to have known. You seem to be actively invested in it, seeing as you're like, yeah, I just read an article about this last week, and I couldn't get you to shut up, so I had to shut you up. And at the end of the day, the thing that's fun about listening to somebody with a hyperfixation is that I can't get someone to shut up about their thing. So I've done the math, and with the points that I thought were boring, the points that I thought were interesting, the points that I thought were there because of like hyper knowledge into it, the things that were there for not having as much knowledge into it or having to like kind of stumble fumble into what it is. I have done your points. Lumi, you had 4. Do you think that's high or low?
I don't know, because I don't know what your scale is. I expected like double digits and triple digits and quadruple numbers.
Yeah, no. Rowan, you got 7.
Yeah!
You got 7 points. Mostly because you started autistic rambling and I was like, oh god. I'm not gonna get them to shut up. I'm not gonna be able to get them to shut up,
You've
am I?
engaged my
I'm not-
superpower.
I'm not gonna be able to get them to shut up, am I? They're gonna continue on. They're gonna keep going. If I don't stop this now, we are never gonna end this episode. We're just gonna keep talking about space. And it got to a point where my eyes started to glaze over, and I was like, man, Rowan's real dumb. I wish they'd tell me more about this. Like,
What?
I don't know, man. It's what my brain does. It's just like, oh man, it's cute that they do all this rambling. I want them to tell me more about it, but I'm not absorbing anything.
I will say, don't give me too much credit for the number. I've double checked myself, and I'm thinking about a totally different number than the actual number I was thinking about.
Oh, I gotta
Negative
reduce your points. I gotta reduce your points then.
I will
Actually
take the
have
point
to.
hit.
No, it's not. It's not 1 point, unfortunately.
The actual number I was thinking about is somewhere around the range of 68 kilometers per second per megaparsec.
Yeah, it's a completely different number. I've deducted your points.
I'm gonna steal some points. The first game was made in 1958.
That doesn't help you. That doesn't help you at all.
I think I should get some points back though for being willing to go and challenge my
No.
own assumptions about.
No, I would stop now before I give you another negative. I would
Ouch.
stop right now before I give you another negative.
Ouch, my heart.
You have 5.
Yeah, I'm still
Keep
in the
going, Rowan.
lead!
Keep going, Rowan. Keep going.
I'm gonna shut up now.
So yes, in a game of being able to talk about a thing forever to the point where I have disassociated myself and started asking questions because I was like, I want to talk too. Rowan wins. But no yippee, no yay, nothing.
I
I'm
had
about
my
to retract
yeah
this from you.
moment.
I'm about to
I-
retract it from you.
I had my yell of yeah. I'm quite happy. I'm also a little bit like, wait, I actually won an episode. Wait, hang on, I'm not
did.
prepared for this.
You did. Everyone, pull out the balloons! Pop!
Whoa!
Fucking Rowan wins. Rowan, do you have a winner speech?
I never thought I'd get this far. I'd like to thank everyone for coming to my TED Talk and for supporting me along this incredible journey of
I'm about to
approximately an
crash
hour.
out. I'm gonna crash out
I
immediately. Loomy, loser speech.
I feel like the win was stolen from me because DG stopped me mid-rant to ask questions and also lowballed me with this topic.
Lowballed you with the I didn't lowball you with the topic. I gave you
also
equal
got stopped
opportunities.
mid-rant.
I don't have hyperfixations really.
You
That's
do.
just the combination
do.
of years of research and like hobby.
I think your hyperfixation was actually content creation, but we can talk about that a different day.
Not anymore. Maybe like 2 years ago, but not anymore.
All right. Either way, I feel like this is a different episode. This is gonna be a lot of eyes glazing over, and that's fine. That's what hyperfixations are. It's about listening to somebody and letting your brain just kind of turn off while you listen to them just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And eventually you want to hear the sound of your own voice, so you ask a question, and then the talking continues. And then you gotta just go to sleep and they'll just keep talking. I've done it before. I've been there.
A great episode to fall asleep to, listeners. Remember,
Yeah.
check out the Reddit and tell us your hyperfixations. We'd love to know.
You get negative points for not letting me do that part.
You get negative points for not getting there faster.
I was getting there. Check out the Reddit. It's brainfog r/brainfog podcast, I believe. Podcast? No. Hold on, wait.
We're professionals, we swear.
Oh wait, did I get it? Did I do it right? Hold on, I don't even know. Also, check out Louis at Lumetric. You can find them on Blue Sky, Twitter, and also in streaming platforms like Twitch. Check out Rohan. You can find them on Twitch. You can't find them on Twitter because they've embargoed themselves, and then possibly Blue Sky.
Always blue sky.
Always Blue Sky. Got it. But yeah, there's been a brain fog. I sure am foggy, and I'm gonna go and fog out now.